Okay, so I know I just recently made a video for Chapter 9, Lesson 5, Numerical Patterns. However, I made that before doing it in class. And the benefit of doing it in class is I get some of your feedback as students. I can hear what parts are still confusing and whatnot. And so, although I have a video for numbers 1 and 2, I'm going to make another video for number 3, showing you what we did in class, because I think it was a little bit more organized. When you're seeing this chart, what we're looking for was the pattern. And so we want to find a relationship between the x and the y, the input and the output. And so here's our x and our y. X is the number of hours and y is the number of miles. And what we're doing was creating a chart, an x, and how did it become y? And on top of x, we're going to label it what it is. So if this is our x, the label of it is the number of hours. So the number of hours. And if this is our y, we're going to label it, respectively, the number of miles. So it is similar to what we were doing here, but it's easier to see the whole pattern when we write it all out. Now, for the first ordered pair, the x, or the number of hours, is 2, and the number of miles is 130. So if we're thinking about ordered pairs, then we'll be thinking of this one as 2x, comma, 130y. When we're doing it in our chart, we could say 2 and 130. Likewise, our x is 4, our x is 4, and our y, when it's 4, is 260. Our next x is 6, so we have 2, 4, 6, and then when it's 6, the y is 390. And lastly, we have 8, and here we need to find this value. And so what we're doing is we're trying to find the relationship between x and y, How did we get from the x to the y? What is our pattern? Now we could see that going from x to y, we're getting larger, we're getting bigger. And between adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, adding and multiplying will get us to a larger number. Because the directions itself say multiply what number, we will be multiplying. And if we, let's pause for a second, think. If we were to add 2 plus 128 equals 130, but 4 plus 128 will not equal 260. So remember, for it to be a pattern, it always has to work. So 2 times what number gets you to 130? Now, if you don't know that math fact, what you could do is the opposite. 130 divided by 2, because they're fact families. And when we solve this, we'll get 65 with no remainders or anything. So 2 times 65 will equal 130. If that's a pattern, then if you do 4 times 65, you better get 260. If you don't get 260, then your pattern is wrong, and you have to look for one that fits correctly for all of these. 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 2 is 26. And so you see that it does check out. That is true. So that's good. Now, if this is a pattern, 6 times 65 better equal 390, or else we don't have the correct pattern. And so if we multiply this out, 6 times 6 is 36, plus 3 is 390, and you can see it checks out. So if we want to find the last one, we're now seeing the pattern. It's times 65, times 65, times 65. So we're going to multiply 65. 65 times 8 will give us our missing value. 5 times 8 is 40. Regroup the 4. 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. So it should be 520. Now, not only did we find our missing value, which is 520, 8 times 65 is 520, but we also found the rule. You multiply the number of hours. The number of hours is your x. So this is our x. To find the number of miles. Our number of miles is our y. So what do we multiply the x by to get our y? That's what they're asking. Multiply the x by what number? 65. To find our y, our number of miles. So here, multiply the x by 65 to find the y. Or in other words, multiply the number of hours by 65 to find the number of miles. So I hope that this helps you. You could look at the first video, and the only difference that you'll be doing is instead of doing this small XY one and doing it left and right of each other, you're going to be making it a full chart and making sure to label. So for here, the X is the number of laps. So on top of X, you'll put number of laps, and the Y is the number of yards. So you put number of yards. Likewise on this one, you'll put number of pounds on the X and the total cost for your Y. So I hope that this video helps explain 9-5 a little more. Let me know if you want me to redo anything else. Have a good day.